Whether you are a buyer, supplier, or financier, our DLT-based end-to-end platform, Atlas, will revolutionize the way you conduct trade. Our innovative and highly secure platform will provide the tools needed to grow and maintain your business. So if you're a global multinational corporation, manufacturer, startup, or anything in between, Atlas has you covered. For buyers, our comprehensive platform helps you make the right business decisions by providing a comprehensive procurement process, digitized end-to-end trade flows, easy integration into your existing systems, and effortless control of your supply chain management. For suppliers, the rewards go far beyond the balance sheet. Atlas will enable you to free up working capital and reinvest into your business, find competitive rates based on your buyer's credit score, access investors and improve your cash flow at the click of a button, and mitigate your risk from extended payment terms. For financiers, we go the extra mile to reduce your lending risks by enhancing your ability to reach a global network of creditable customers, receive traceable documents to safeguard against fraud and double financing, maintain seamless communication with buyers and suppliers, and provide real-time risk monitoring tools at your fingertips. Atlas brings together the digital islands of buyers, suppliers, and financiers, allowing them to interact on a trusted network. Leveraging blockchain technology, data is stored securely to provide a complete audit trail, while cryptographic hashing of the data uses techniques used for preserving the privacy of all parties involved. Finally, agreements and transactions are digitally signed and automatically executed, making trade finance more efficient than ever. Chain your trade to a better finance.
And gradually, we reduce the number of use cases into some so-called low-hanging fruits. For example, we've been working closely with some of the banks on the trade finance area. We're also working on the central bank digital currency projects as well, all with our 3 folks. And gradually, we move to pilots. And the difference between the proof of concept or the prototypes and the pilots are that we are going to support live transactions. Basically, we cannot screw up. And that's why we need to enhance the reliability of it rather than the number of new features. About the new features right now, I have observation is that in terms of technology, it's basically settled. Not talking about those zero knowledge proof or multi-party computation or homomorphic encryption, but for the major set of features or technologies, they are all settled. And right now, we need to focus more probably on how to make sure that our system can run reliably, and also how to make sure that we can comply with all those security requirements, and also how to make the deployment more efficient. So down the road, I think in the coming 5 years, we are gradually moving from pilot to production, and we need to provision this kind of production system by looking into exactly how we can support our operations team. So our operations team also needs tools so that we can keep our costs very, very low, and also to make them very efficient rather than having our operations team locked up in a dark room and then looking after all the nodes. We should have some tools for them. So this is actually why we are actually looking into this, how to operate or how to automate the DevOps and how to help our operations team to look into it. Right now in Hong Kong, I have a very small operations team running 24/7, including all the public holidays. And I actually have 5 people there, and they are looking after more than 200 nodes right now. So if you look into, for example, CryptoBLK, in the last 24 months, we have been deployed a few thousand nodes. That's pretty impressive. And also, our DevOps team have been working so hard to deploying all those things, to write a lot of deployment scripts, to automate all the things. And even right now, at any moment of the time, we are hosting more than 2,000 live nodes. They are all Corda nodes right now. And down the road, we are going to have more and more nodes added up. And this actually brings in a lot of challenges to us, how to keep our costs down. And especially our customers, they are thinking that it's distributed, but I don't want to have a lot of invoices coming to me because you are distributing more nodes and getting more expensive. We would like to keep the system very low cost, very agile, and also we should have some tool to make sure that we can look after all the nodes without any of the human intervention. So this comes to the product that I would like to introduce today. It's called Cerberus. And this is actually a monitoring as well as an alerting system. And we look into the Corda nodes, the CorDapps running on top of the Corda nodes, and also some of those DLT supporting resources, for example, the web servers, the database, and also some of the, for example, the third-party servers. For example, at the trade finance field, we have a lot of third-party modules like the bill of lading modules, some of the API gateways. We should also look into it and make sure that all those servers are up and running. So Cerberus is designed for the DevOps, and also down the road, it's mainly designed for the operations team. So this is just a snapshot of what we can see as kind of like a dashboard of a Corda node. So we get all those information from some conventional agents like the JMX exporter, the Telegraph, the Firebit, and all those agents are very useful agents. And we try to visualize them, and we try to consolidate all of them. And also we have those logs, and we try to aggregate those logs, and also carry out some of the analysis. For example, we have the Elasticsearch built in for supporting the regular expression search as well. So over here, as you can see, on the Corda node dashboard, you can have different levels of healthiness that you can check out. Say the Corda level, the JVM threat information, the CorDapps information like the number of flows, whether there will be a flow which is being queued or expired, or how many active flows that you have, and also some of the operating system information there. So we hope that we can put in not just some of the existing system level, but also application-specific information onto the screen. And also, we try to build a dashboard. For example, you are running, say, one of our projects called Midas, which is an insurance system that we have different Corda nodes. We have Notary, Doorman, we have all other databases, and some connectivity as well, like the RPC, P2P, all those stuff. And we want to have one screen to see this is actually the happy case, like all green. Right? So all the nodes are OK, that's fine. But if some of the nodes are down, we have some different colors, and then you can click into a particular node and look into it to find out what's happening. And we are also sending some notification, depends on the severity level. So about all those resources that you need to monitor, you might have a question that what kind of nodes that you can monitor, or what kind of settings that you can monitor. Actually, we build it kind of like a Cerberus. We call it an agent. So it's basically a small process running on those VMs and collect all those information. You don't need to send everything to a monitoring center. You can have a standalone if you have this kind of security requirement. So over here, it shows two different scenarios. Client A's data center on-prem, on-premises. Another one is the VPS on cloud. So the structure can be the same. We have the load balancer. We have the fault tolerance web services. We might have two Corda nodes running for the hot or cold standby. And also, we have those database connected to there. So we can run actually a Cerberus agent to look after all those resources and tell us whether they are healthy or not. So this is basically an overview of all the features. Some of the key points are, for example, the real-time healthiness checking on the Corda network, on the CorDapps, and also some of the related resources. And also, we are trying to put in more powerful tools to analyze the logs. Right now, we have the Elasticsearch integrated. We can support the regular expression there. We try to aggregate more logs so that we can have some kinds of correlational information obtained from there. Besides that, we are also checking the digital certificates. Sometimes it's, we call it the low-level errors coming from our DevOps forgetting to renew the certificates. And turn out that that can be a nightmare, a disaster. So having some kinds of tools to remind us whether the particular certificate is going to expire or not, or whether the certificate is already in a revocation list or not, we can actually notify the DevOps or the operations teams to renew those certificates. That's also very important. So about the notification part, we support email notification, phone, SMS, depending on the severity level. For some of the very critical missions that the SMS or the phone call will be triggered. Currently, Cerberus is not something that we are going to roll out. Actually, it's already been used. We are using this one for a global letter of credit trade finance platform. And also, we are using it for our insurance platform, Midas. And for the Midas itself, we have 40 live DLT Corda nodes running right now. We also have some other like central bank digital currency projects that we are making use of Cerberus to monitor that. As I mentioned, we only have 5 guys right now working on the operations part, but they are already looking after all these 200 DLT nodes. One more remark about Cerberus is that we launched that in December 2018, and so far there was no glitch. And this is actually a testimonial on how reliable the Corda system is. So for those operations or DevOps guy, this is actually a very typical table that you would look into and make sure that everything's checked. For example, the surface visualization, whether this kind of monitoring tool has any of the visualization stuff. In terms of the functionality, whether you have the monitoring of the functionality, and some of the non-functional availability part, whether you have the monitoring of it or not, and also the system level monitoring. So right now for Cerberus, we make sure that everything's checked, but definitely it's not perfect. We are still trying to build more and more features on top of it. And right now, I have to say say it's still basic. For example, for this dashboard, we are actually organizing all those nodes by projects. So for each role, it corresponds to one project. For example, CryptoBLK is looking after actually 11 different projects, and they are all live. And we have to make sure that all those systems are up and running. And you can see that there is one row which is red, and all 6 Corda nodes are down. We intentionally make it like this for the illustration purpose only. And also you can see that on this dashboard, you can see the number of nodes for each of the projects. And also you can click into it to see every single resources to see how healthy it is or how unhealthy it is. So at this moment, say, if you look into one particular project, then you can actually look into one Corda node that, for example, you can actually look into a particular, say, the JVM thread or the failure count. And also you can check out the P2P port connectivity information over there. So all these things are actually taken from existing agents, right? Like Telegraph or the JMX exporter. And we just try to make sure that we can visualize everything and the operations team can have a better life. So this is also another screenshot about the CorDapp level, the number of flows there. And also the system level. This is basically like your MacBook Air monitor app. And also about the notification part, it really depends on the severity level. For example, if this usage is over 60%, then we are going to send an email out to the operations team. Or if your certificate is about to expire in 2 weeks, then there will be an email notification. But in some of the scenarios that, say, one of the Corda nodes is down for more than 5 minutes, then the operations team really need to wake up and pay attention to that. So that would trigger actually a phone call or SMS message to make sure the operations team can look into that to restart the Corda code or look into the log and so on. So about the log, this is something that we are actually paying special attention to because there are actually a lot of different kinds of logs. If you do the manual work to dig out the details, it's a nightmare. So this is actually a special request coming from our DevOps team, and they actually built this one up by supporting the regular expression, as I mentioned, and also they support the log aggregation. So this one seems to be pretty dumb, actually, but it's very important because every single grid over there represents the number of days left before your certificate expires. And to be honest, we have made a few this kind of mistakes in the past, forgetting renewing the certificates, and then the entire system goes down for a couple of minutes. So this one turned out to be quite useful, and for our dev team, they actually love this page very much. And right now, we don't have the integration with revocation list yet, but very soon we are going to integrate with that to make sure we also can renew or even automate the certificate renewal or the revocation. So this is also a very standard web portal access control or access overview, and you can actually find out a lot of this standard information from just one page. So again, we try to make the operations team's life easier over here. So about how this the Cerberus system can be used, we basically have 2 different scenarios. One scenario is that you just need to install a Cerberus agent.
And some other corporates as well. So in order to let all the people or all the entities to share information in a very secure and so-called immutable way, so that we can have one single system to trust, and all the parties can actually just share the data, upload their documents. A lot of people or entities are still paper-based, like their processes are still paper-based. By using blockchain, we are just doing the digital transformation.
In the end of the day, what are really the economics of it? I don't think anyone globally yet has proven a commercial model that makes sense. Is it a cost savings opportunity and how much, or is it a new business opportunity and how much?
I think it's both, but actually more importantly, blockchain, I believe, for example, for Alice, the trade finance system, is that it can actually create some new business. When we are talking about, say, finance gap, the finance gap is talking about, say, some of the corporates, because of lack of transparency, it's very hard for them to get the financing. But once we have this blockchain to enhance the transparency and also to have a better way to keep track of all the documents, then some of the corporates can actually get the financing. So this is actually a new business opportunity for everybody.
And George, when you think about how you can best help fintechs get financed, what are the elements that you look at there, and what are the roadmaps you follow to get companies financed here at the park?
What we want is for the company to be self-sustainable, right? They need to be able to find their business, find their solutions to meet the true industry needs. And for that, what we do is we actually partner with a lot of stakeholders in the financial service industry, whereby they will open up their technology platform as well as their business problems and business use cases, so that the companies, the technology companies within the park, have a chance to really work with them in a short period of time and to validate their solution, validate their technologies, and finally to prove, to your point, the economics of the of their solution.
Work and process to go through throughout the entire trade finance system. By building this Voltron project, we try to streamline the whole thing so that all the things can be digitized and streamlined at the same time. I think Voltron right now is just at the beginning part, and that's why it's very important for us to work with all the stakeholders very closely. We believe Voltron has a very big and future potential to make it big. Right now, we are focusing on letter of credit, trade finance by using Voltron. But I think in the future, while the system is getting more mature, we can actually consider of having Voltron to digitize even more features surrounding this trade finance ecosystem.